Hey everybody, Grizzly here. So today I've had a lot of thinking. I've seen a lot of videos. I've heard a lot of talk, and yeah. So the first topic, Black Lives Matter. Anybody that's associated with it or cares about it, it's a George Soros funded organization. They have ties to where they show money going to campaigns of Democrats only. Democrats, no Republicans at all. It's a racist organization, no matter how you want to look at it. They're now entwined with Antifa and the Black Panther Party, which the Black Panther Party is known to be racist. It is a black supremacy movement that runs around yelling black power. Kind of sounds like a hooded white organization I've heard of that runs around screaming white power. But yet, if I say anything about I'm proud to be white or anything that even remotely celebrates my background, except for my Native American side, I guess I'm allowed to say, I don't know, maybe I'm not. But if I say anything, I'm racist. If any of you liberals and I get into a discussion and I don't say what you want me to say, I'm racist. Calling me racist by the color of my skin is like me calling you lazy by the color of your skin. It's not right. I mean, the people standing there saying, "Oh, black people do all the crimes." Well, that's not true. White people are not all racist. In fact, a lot of black people are racist, and most of them are in Black Lives Matter because most of them are standing for black supremacy, basically taking over and pushing out the white people. I mean, if you look at it, they're pushing out white history. Columbus, let's get on the topic. Y'all are mad about slavery. But who are you mad at? The wrong people. Slavery started many years ago. It was in Egypt. It was all over Africa. In fact, that's how America ended up with it. It came from Africa. Slaves were, let me remember correctly if I read this right. The slaves were captured off a Spanish ship. So the Spanish had already taken y'all and brought y'all this way. The Dutch captured the Spanish ship, took the slaves, brought them to America, sold them. The Dutch set up a slave trade in Africa where they had African tribe leaders selling them the slaves. This wasn't just, oh, I'm a white guy, I'm going to run around and snatch up these black folk. That's not it. Slavery's been going on. It was going on. It's still going on. But it was going on for thousands of years before the settlement of the United States. And yes, slaves were brought here. But the first slave owner, Anthony Johnson. Let's talk about Anthony Johnson. Why don't you look him up? He was the first black slave owner. He was a free man. So no, not all black people were slaves. The slaves were the captured, as in the bottom of the bottom. They were the criminals, the everything. Anything you can imagine that people didn't want. The poor tribes, the tribes that broke laws, the criminals, the bad people. They were brought to America and they were given a chance. And y'all might not like slavery, and it's not a good thing that slavery happened. Well, it is a good thing that slavery happened because, truthfully, that's how the cultures mix, that we've got white and black, that we get to learn each other's cultures and enjoy each other. Slavery was brought to the United States. Yes, it was. It was brought in at Jamestown. I believe Christopher Columbus may have had slaves, but that was 1492. Sorry. So anyways, so slavery has been around forever. So y'all got to understand that when slavery was around forever, and think about this, the northern people up north, they had in the industry. They had machines doing the work for them. They had big factories doing everything. They didn't need slaves. Now you see, down on the South where the farms were, the plantations as they were called, they needed slaves. All of a sudden it comes time to where they wanted to free the slaves. The discussion came up. And the South wasn't happy about that. And mainly everything I've read, if you want to go to Wikipedia and just Wikipedia, slavery, read it, all of it. Don't stop. You don't stop. You read every bit of it because I'm telling you, there's a lot of good information. I read it too. So the South was worried that by releasing, I think it was 4 million slaves into their economy, it was going to crash the economy. Now let's talk about why the North decided to release the slaves. The only reason slaves were released, the South had, they had all their plantation land. The slaves lived on it, so the slaves were provided room and board, which saved a lot of money, meaning that the plantation owners were making a killing selling their goods to the North. The North decided they wanted some taxes, so they decided they were going to tax the products a little bit heavier. The South sought out selling their items to none other than England. I bet you didn't know that. Long story short, North and South couldn't make an agreement. North decided they wanted to start talking about releasing the slaves. South said they weren't having it. They were free states. They weren't going to be taxed like that. And yes, they couldn't figure out how to let their slaves all go that fast. It needed to be a long-term process. When it all started, hold on, let's go back to Jamestown. I'm sorry. In Jamestown, they weren't just black slaves. Let's talk about that. Slaves were not just black. I hope y'all know that it was not just black people. There were even English settlers. Prison time. Instead of prison time, you were given slavery. You were either whipped, hung, or given slavery. White, black, didn't matter. That was a punishment. So a lot of your southern slaves didn't even want to leave the plantation. A lot of them stayed on for many, many years after slavery was done. But if y'all really want to get correct, why are we fighting? Why are we not going like instead of taking away Confederate stuff, that's us fighting between each other. The North and the South people, the country folks that grew up under the Confederate flag and things like that. It's a fight between us. The government and the media are pushing us all between each other. We're not enemies. Black, white, brown, purple, green, we're not enemies. We're American citizens. And it's about time we make somebody answer for this. It's not all cops. All cops ain't killing people. Look at the number of cops and look how many killings there are. Those numbers are staying under so many thousand a year. There's more white people killed than black people. It's the media. I was watching something earlier and it was two black guys, mixed guys, I don't know. Anyways, they're telling all about, how messed up the media is and how they're only, they're sourcing out these black killings. But they didn't, have y'all ever heard about, there was a little boy, he had autism. Him and his father were in a vehicle and it was shot at. The child was 6 or 7 years old, died, autism. He was autistic. The cop shot through the car. The father was wounded really badly. He did recover, but yeah, the 5-year-old white boy was murdered. Look up deaths. I mean, there was one in Las Vegas. The guy had multiple personalities, and he was freaking out, and they did the knee thing to him, and he died. There's the one that was in the hotel room. He was a white. And the one with the knee. He was a white boy. There's the one in the hotel where the dude was like, "Please don't shoot me, please," but he kept reaching for his back. Dumbest thing you can do. when you speak to a cop, now this doesn't matter. I'm trying to hide a logo. This doesn't matter if you're white, black, purple, green. It's your attitude toward the cops. Yes, sir. No, sir. Handle your business. Do what they need you to do so you can go home. You know, when you start, I don't want to give you my driver's license. I don't want to do that's going against orders. And of course, the man that's supposed to be, his position is law and order, and you're giving him shit. Of course he's going to get a little hostile. I mean, if you're doing your job, don't you get pissed off if somebody starts fucking with your job? Like, messing with what you're trying to do? I do. I know I did. Oh my God. I used to get so mad. But what I'm trying to tell you is, it's not white versus black. It's not, there's nothing about George Floyd's murder that we know that's racist. There was 2 white cops, a black cop, and a freaking Asian cop. So where's the racist there? Now, any one of them could have saved that man, and they stood there. You know why? Because they're paid to. This shit's done by the government. The Democratic Party is so pissed off that they have not been able to get something on Donald J. Trump. They're pissed. If they could get something on Trump right now, they would drop all this shit. This is fueled by the media, fueled by the Democratic Party. They're that much of a piece of shit. So if you're voting Democrat, you're fucking your life up. And I hope all you people, every one of you that votes Democrat, I hope y'all figure this shit out. But it's not a good day. And I mean, I'm probably going to do a Facebook Live here soon. Add me on Facebook. I don't know. It's a sad day for the United States, though. I'm going to tell you that. We shouldn't be messing with monuments. We should be going after people. People that are responsible. You know, you got something happens in Minnesota and you're destroying everything else in the United States because you're mad. I mean, are we 5? I'll never get it. All lives matter. That's the movement. Black Lives Matter needs to be done. The Black Panther Party needs to be done. The KKK, done. All of them need to be stopped. Antifa needs to be put down. Every one of them. We don't need these racial and blah, 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 these organizations starting shit. We are American citizens. Every one of us. Socialism is a failure. It's failed in Venezuela. It has failed everywhere. So we need to forget about that bullshit that you're being fed by these Democratic faggots. I will fuck them up. I don't care. Anybody that wants to talk about this, feel free to leave me a comment. I would love to talk about this. We can have open discussions. We can do a YouTube live. We can do a Facebook live. We can do whatever you want to do. And let's talk it out. Love y'all.